In the quiet suburban town of Levittown, Pennsylvania, nestled among the orderly rows of houses, there was one home that had been vacant for years. Locals whispered about its eerie past, but most believed it was just another old tale meant to scare children. That is, until a new family moved in. The Marlow family had relocated from the city, eager to embrace the quiet of the suburbs. Lisa, the mother, was particularly drawn to the charm of the old house on Magnolia Lane, despite its neglected appearance. Her husband, Jack, was less enthusiastic, but they couldn't pass up the great deal. Shortly after moving in, strange things began to happen. It started with small noises, footsteps in the hall when no one was there, doors creaking open, cold drafts that seemed to come from nowhere. Lisa brushed it off, but their teenage daughter, Emma, was unnerved. She swore she saw shadows moving in the corner of her room at night, even though nothing was there when she turned on the light. One evening, after a particularly unsettling day of hearing whispers behind her, Lisa decided to investigate the history of the house. She went to the local library and learned that in the early 1960s, the home had been owned by the Daniels family. According to old newspaper clippings, one evening, the Daniels' young son, Bobby, had disappeared while playing in the backyard. Despite a massive search, Bobby was never found, and the family moved away, leaving the house to fall into disrepair. As Lisa dug deeper, she found more disturbing details. Some neighbors claimed to have seen Bobby's ghost wandering the streets late at night, always near the woods behind the house. Others reported strange happenings whenever someone attempted to renovate the property. But the strangest rumor of all was that Bobby's disappearance wasn't an accident. It was said he had been taken by something that lived in the woods, something not entirely human. Determined to protect her family, Lisa returned home that evening, ready to tell Jack everything. But as she stepped inside, she noticed the house felt colder than usual. The air was heavy, and the shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally long, twisting up the walls. Suddenly, Emma screamed from upstairs. Lisa and Jack rushed to their daughter's room, finding her curled in the corner, shaking and pointing toward the window. "He's here," Emma whispered. "He wants to come in." Lisa looked outside and froze. In the dim light, she could make out the figure of a small boy standing at the edge of the woods, his face pale and emotionless, his eyes locked on hers, and then, in an instant, he was gone. That night, the family didn't sleep. Every creak, every rustle felt like a threat. By morning, Jack decided they needed to leave, at least for a few days, while they figured out what to do. But as they packed, the power went out, and the temperature dropped drastically. Then, the whispers started. From every corner of the house, faint voices echoed, growing louder with each passing second. Shadows moved on their own, and the air became so cold, their breath hung in the air. Lisa, Jack, and Emma huddled together, terrified. Suddenly, the front door slammed open, and the cold gust of wind rushed in. Standing in the doorway was the figure of Bobby Daniels, but he wasn't a child anymore. His face was twisted, his eyes hollow, and his mouth moved, but no sound came out. The whispers around them grew deafening. Lisa screamed for him to leave, but he took a step forward, raising his hand. As he did, the whispers stopped, replaced by a bone-chilling silence. Bobby pointed toward the woods, and without a word, turned and disappeared into the trees. The Marlow family left that night and never returned. The house on Magnolia Lane remains empty, the shadows longer than they should be, and the whispers still haunt the halls. Some say that Bobby Daniels was never truly gone. He's just waiting for the next family to arrive, to invite him back inside, and those who wander too close to the woods at night might still see his small figure, standing silently, watching, waiting.